authenticity, and how can you be more authentic? My name is Marquita Hudgens, and this is the voice behind the voice, where I helped you to figure out what it is you need to get in the way and get out of the way so that you can start realizing your full potential and the fulfillment of your talents, your skills, your gifts. I want you to grow and to shine, and that's why I'm here to help you out. So today, along with the self-actualization talk we've been having, we are going to talk about authentication. It is episode 18, and we've been through it all. We've been through self-awareness, self-respect. We've been through anger issues, awkwardness. The list goes on. Accountability, autonomy, and now we are here talking about authentication. So, what is authenticity? In a nutshell, authenticity is being yourself. I can talk about this forever, and if you know by now, I can talk about something forever. But I'm not. Um, so, authenticity is being yourself, being who you truly are. And I could go down a list of things that people who are themselves do, but all I want to tell you or remind you is that if you're being yourself, you're not doing things and saying things just because someone else thinks it's a good idea for you. I just got a thought. So I was just reminded of something. Something that I have told myself, a revelation that I have come to just a little while ago, not too long ago, but maybe like fall 2020. I came to the realization that if the reasoning behind what you do is them, or because those people, if you're just doing something just to silence someone, you just for so long I've always just done things because I didn't want to hear anybody's mouth, right? Wrong, horrible way to live. I know. So, if the reason why you're doing something is because unless they or them are your small children, um, or someone who really depends on you and needs you like for everything, we then you just need to let their opinions and their thoughts and their ideas pass you by. Maybe they have great ideas. Maybe their ideas are considerable, but that's kind of where they stay. They kind of just stay in this pot of consideration where you can look inside the pot and you can pick. You know what I mean? Pick it. It's a gumbo. You pick out what you want and leave the other stuff, right? So, with with authentication, being your true self, I want to remind you or to let you know, for those of you who've never heard this before, God does not make mistakes. And God created each and every one of us fearfully and wonderfully, which means that He created you with conviction. He knew exactly what formula to put together to create you. And He did not make a mistake. You make mistakes. And you need to realize that those mistakes that you made, all those times you fell down and you failed, they were a part of your story and they were leading you up to today. Eventually here I'm going to talk about the good thing about starting without an audience and humble beginnings and things like that. Because it's very important that you embrace this time of beginning and starting fresh. Like if you make a mistake and you fail and you get back up on your feet, it's very good to have that sense of, okay, maybe everybody saw me fall on my butt, but I'm going to act like they didn't. Okay? And I'm just going to start fresh, start new, as if nobody's watching. Because a lot of times, if you fell on your behind and people watched you, there are people who have their own insecurities, and watching you fail makes them feel like they're gonna fail. So it's very hard for them to watch you hopefully, like to watch you and cheer you on. And that's a really big thing for me right now, because it's like you kind of wonder, if you allow yourself to wonder. Sometimes it's not a good thing, but I'm gonna wonder just for the sake of this video. I'm very greasy. Sorry. So that's why I keep, I'm sorry. Please excuse me. I'm sure you hear it in the microphone. I'm going but anyways, and it's hot. I have all these lights on me, and I'm like, the grease is like, okay, I'm supposed to be staying in, but I can't help but come out. Um, let me rewind. So I'm talking about people watching you, and it's very easy to wonder, like, okay, I know all these people. How come, like, none of them, like less than 1% of the amount of people I know, are watching my videos and listening to my podcast and liking my stuff on Instagram and subscribing to my YouTube? Like, it's there. It's a mystery. Nobody knows why. Even people who have the issue still aren't able to support everybody they know in everything that they do. And you have to realize that some people are just more distracted on trying to get their life together, and trying to or trying to help their closer friends and family. And you are not the responsibility. Just like their opinion is not your responsibility. So remember that the opinion of others is not, it's just not your responsibility. You do not have to subscribe to other people's opinions and ideas. You can hear them out. And a lot of times, I mean, you kind of know if you're talking to someone who is always negative or always projecting. They're always telling you why you shouldn't do something. You kind of know when you open your mouth to tell them what your idea is, or what you're gonna do today, or what you're doing in preparation for something else. You kind of already know, so you can kind of already, like, you're already kind of ready for when they come at you. But it's just kind of best, especially when you're in a time where self authentication is new for you, and you're trying to just figure it out, and you're trying to figure out the whole autonomy thing, and you're trying to hold yourself accountable. It's like better to kind of, isolation is never good. I'm not going to say that isolation is good, but you do have to isolate yourself from the people whose opinions and ideas aren't benefiting you, aren't benefiting your life, and aren't lining up with what you want to do. Because what happens is you miss out on a lot of opportunities when you start to when you start wasting time trying to maintain other people's opinions of you. Like, their opinions literally don't matter. Like, they have their own lives to live. And whether or not you're giving them your ideas for their life, or opinions for their life, or whatever, they also are not responsible for maintaining your opinions. Like, you are. I am responsible for maintaining my own opinion. If it's my opinion that I should do a certain thing in my life, it's my responsibility to go out and do it and see if it actually works for me. Because if I go off of everybody else's opinions, and everybody else projecting their fears on me, I like I said already, I miss out on a lot of opportunities. I miss out on a lot of things. Like, what if I would have tried it, and what if I would have succeeded? I won't know unless I myself am curious enough to go out and do that, to venture out and find out if I'm actually going to succeed at something. And it doesn't matter how many times you fall down. Doesn't matter how many times you fail, you have the right to get back up, dust yourself off, and keep going. So I'm going to give you 8 tips on how to be more authentic. And for me personally, let me just tell you from my point of view. There have been a lot of times where I have um, dumbed myself down for certain audiences, and I've just done kind of like the nod, smile and nod type thing, and never really um, lived my life. Like, there's so many things I wanted to do. I wanted to go off to college, and for a specific reason, and I let a lot of people's opinions about what I wanted to do in college stop me from the whole. I was like, well, forget it. I'm not even going to do it, because now if I go out and do it anyway, all these people are going to be mad at me, or and it's like I look at it now and I'm like, it doesn't even matter, because some of those people I didn't even like. I just i just felt like maintaining their opinion of me, or their opinion of what I want to do with my life. I made that so important, and that's why I'm here today talking about authenticity, because I don't want you to make that same mistake. If you know that somebody is going to project their fears and failures and insecurities and all of that onto you, stop talking to them. If you know you have a good idea in your heart, when you feel it in your heart, sometimes it's best to just be quiet and just try it. I mean, if there's a potential danger, I mean, you could just text somebody the day of, like, this is the address I'm at, this is the phone number. If I don't call you by such and such, then you know what I mean. Come get me. But but it's like, use wisdom. I'm not saying don't use wisdom, but sometimes it does feel like you can't tell anybody anything. So I want to just help you with these 8 tips, because I can go on and on. I've already been going on, but I can go on and on and on. So let me just get these 8 tips out of the way, so I can, cut this, and we can, and I can do yesterday's video, and I can do tomorrow's video and podcast and so on, and do all these other things that I'm working on. Because they're my idea and I want to do them, and my heart feels like this is the best thing for me. So I have to just do it, right? That's why I'm in this closet and looking like this and doing what I got to do, because my true self, myself says this is what needs to go down, right? So so these are my 8. um Here we go. 1, know yourself. Easy, right? Know yourself. What's your what's your favorite color? I mean, yeah, just sit down and ask yourself uh, a tons, a multitude of dating questions, right? What's your favorite food? What's your favorite animal? What's your dream car? Go down the list. Get to know yourself. Take time out to get to know yourself. And like I just said, what's your dream car? How many times have you told somebody else what your dream car was, and they go, that's the car you want? Put that car back on the list. Okay? Put that car back on the list. Now, um I remember when I was younger, um I was at a youth retreat, and this girl, we were all saying what our favorite color was. I can't remember if there were more things, but I distinctly remember the favorite color part, because this one girl, she goes, and oh my gosh, I love her so much, but it was just so funny. She goes, mahogany red, and everybody's like, mahogany red. But now, like, as I think about it, like, at such a young age, she knew. You know what I mean? She knew that was her favorite color. And I hope that in that moment, that day, she didn't change her mind. And I think I follow her on Facebook. I feel like I want to send her a message and saying, I hope mahogany red is still your favorite color. I should do that, because I just feel it in my heart that, man, I mean, kids can be mean, and I know I was a part. I was in the Mean Girls, okay, at the church, right? So, so it's like you want to just get to know who you are and stand on those things. Like, be firm on it that this is who I am. And no matter what anybody has to say, this is going to be who I am until I decide that this does not work for me anymore. When I was a kid, I used to want a puppy. I wanted a dog. I got a dog. I got another dog. I got another dog. I'm good. I had to experience that for myself. Okay? I'm good. I am a kid child. I'm a kid child. I am a kid person. Okay? I can have tons more kids and I'll be fine. But I can't have animals. If I have an animal, Lord forgive me, it will only be for the purpose of making that animal famous on social media. For that, I will I will forget about what animals smell like. I will forget about talking to something that does not physically speak back to me. Um, I forget about all of it. Maybe I'll get a hairless animal. I don't know, but I'm just telling you guys right now. If you see me pop up with a real live animal, and I'm like, this is mine, you kind of already know my intention. And who cares what you think about it? That's the point that I'm trying to make here. Who cares? That's how I feel. Um, so two, so one is know you. Two, accept you. Let's be real. When I'm pretty sure this is, I'm just gonna say this is everybody, but when you grow up in an atmosphere where, or an environment where everybody you know has an opinion of what you're doing or what you want to do or what you said, and everybody wants you to know, it's hard to know, like, like, I know my favorite color is pink. I know my favorite color has kind of always been pink. I had a very long time in my life um, where my favorite color was green. And then one day I woke up, somebody asked me what my favorite color was, and I was like, wait a minute, I don't really know because I don't like green that much anymore. You know? I think it had a lot to do with my husband's cousin. She had passed away, and her favorite color was green, and like her casket, everything was green. And I honestly, I feel like that might be what took me off of the green. But I went back to pink. And then and I want to say shortly after she had passed away, I became pregnant with my daughter, and I was like, yes, that was knowing that I was having a daughter was the confirmation. Pink is my favorite color, and after that, everything became pink. Um, I've always hated purple, and I've even opened up to purple since I've had a daughter. Um, every color is a girly color for me, but so I I accept me. Um, I accept the reasons behind what I do. I can tell you, like, I can just tell you, like, boom, I saw a green casket and I didn't like green anymore. And that might bother people, but it doesn't bother me. Um, I it just doesn't. When I was a young girl, I remember telling my mom, this is another thing that I accept about myself. I can just talk about death and whatever. But when I was very young, when I was a child, I would say things to my mom, weird stuff. Like, hey, so when I die, I want my casket to be this color and this color. So knowing that as a child, knowing what color I want my casket to be, or my funeral or whatever to be, it's easy for me to be like, I saw a green casket. I don't like green no more. Like that, it was never in the plan, right? It might be a little too deep for some people, and I accept that about myself. Okay, I'm weird. I talk about death, and I talk a lot, and I have my quirks, and that's the thing. Like, you have to be able to accept your quirks. You have to be able to accept. Um, I know that I can be very extremely ditzy. I can be extremely nerdy. Um, you know what I mean? And that's the thing. Like, sometimes what people do, because they're projecting, they'll take one part of you and take another part of you, and they try to get you to believe that it's not okay to be both. And here I am, all my life, I'm A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P. And I've always felt bad for being who I am. And now that I accept myself for who I am, um, I've come just to the realization that, oh Lord, we have to do a part two. Um, I've come to the realization um, that I'm okay. I'm okay. So I'm gonna cut this because I have six more things to talk about. You know what? Let me just do one more. Okay. So thinking. People make you feel bad for overthinking. But sometimes there's a beauty in overthinking. Being able to think things out, to think things all the way through. Being able to stop and think before you speak. Or like I was saying before, to be able to know who you're talking to and to think like, okay, so this is what I'm going to say. This is what I'm not going to say. Sometimes you even still say what you weren't supposed to say, but if you think a lot, if you think it all the way through, if I accidentally say this, then I will not continue in this, or I'm going to save myself by saying this. And it's about your health, mental health mainly, but I mean like your full entire, I don't know how, the health of your authenticity, the health of your actuality, the health of your self-worth, you know, the fortification of the value that you place on yourself. I like the word fortification. It makes me feel like a big strong building, right? So um so when you think these things through, um you're just protecting yourself. And sometimes people do overthink to where it's unhealthy, and that's not what I'm trying to promote. I'm not trying to promote you just sitting and thinking all day. Like, you still have to, like, do stuff. Like, don't just think about it. Like, think about it enough to where it's like, there are things that are happening today that I've thought about my whole life. Like, I'm prepared for it, right? And I didn't know I was thinking about it. And that has a lot to do with self-actualization and autonomy, because throughout your life, you're going, you have high moments and you have low moments, and the whole time you're taking these mental notes, whether you know it or not. And you have to be able to really silence yourself and breathe and think and get to know yourself in order to bring those notes back up. And it's like a puzzle. It's like, okay, so all my life I've hated my voice. I've hated hearing my voice because I thought everybody else hated my voice because of what people said to me and the way that they said it, right? But I never forgot all of the times that people said nice things about my voice. And I got to this point last year where I was like, my voice is not bad, right? My voice is not bad. And you start to think about, you know what I mean? So thinking is number three. Think about it, okay? So know you, accept you, and think about it. Think it through. And I'll give you the next five on the next episode 18. It's a lot of numbers going on in my head. But yeah, so episode 18, I got your back, okay? I'll talk to you tomorrow. Stop. Stop. Oh, let me tell you something. So I stopped the podcast, but I was hitting. So the podcast is on my iPad. So I just touch it, right? So I'm on the computer, on the Chromebook, and I'm supposed to be using my mouse and clicking it. I'm hitting the screen saying stop, stop, stop. So you're welcome. That was for free. All right, I'll see you tomorrow.